reflections on the observer. It felt as though he was observing the evolution of the Earth and all of us and scanning us all. Pardon me. Is there any connection to the watcher energy?
Of course there is a connection. The watcher energy is contained within the observer.
Okay. Because in Egyptian times, there was one of the gods that was considered, in the only planet of choice, Tom was considered that being that helped make the Sphinx, a connection with the Council of Nine, and I wondered if...
There is a connection, only in that a recognition was made of that energy level, of that consciousness level, and a representation was created to symbolize it. But it is, in a sense, not a representation of the total energy of that being, but only of the facet that is, as you say, germane to the particular culture that represented it, in their interpretation of their relationship to it, since above all, the observer is the very epitome of the concept of relationship.
Right. Is the observer, since he's the oversoul of the association,
remember that is not an absolute definition.
Right. That's an energetic
It is
concept.
one way to understand or look at or reflect the relationship with the observer.
Right.
But only one way.
Okay.
But do proceed.
Is he going to come back again?
It
I'm sorry. Is the observer going to come back?
Forward if summoned. But I give you this. And I will put it, of course, in what you would call your classical and colloquial vernacular. Not meant in a negative way, but sit up and pay attention to this. Warning, warning, warning. To summon the observer is to summon a relationship and to summon an interaction. The observer, if summoned, may see you in a different light than you see yourself and may call upon you to express the self it sees. If you do not feel up to the task of doing so, the observer may never acknowledge your summons again. And if you summon it and accept that a task may be given, you may find in your own terms that it may be something you will really have to deal with that may not necessarily be easy for you. Mm-hmm. But it guaranteed will stretch you if you are willing to do that. But we give you this buffer zone as a warning. Do not summon it lightly. Mm-hmm. Because you will, in a sense, need to be prepared either to really change or to find that you will not necessarily be capable of communicating with it for quite some time thereafter, until such time as it has recognized you being the self it recognizes you as. Then it may reinitiate communication. If it initiates the communication, as it did this last time, no such task will be required. But if you summon it, because it is all about the idea of relationship, it will want to relate to you as it sees you from its point of view, mm-hmm. which may require your personality to disassemble itself in ways that will not necessarily be comfortable for you, and that is not meant in a negative sense. Mm-hmm. So be prepared if this happens. This is the only disclaimer we will give. End of warning.